The Dayton City Commission meeting will now come to order. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. This evening, invocation will be given by Commissioner Fairchild.
Will you pray with me? O Holy One, we come with heavy hearts and deflated spirits. We are mindful of another senseless death of one of our children. We pause now to honor her life. Comfort her family and all who grieve the death of a loved one today. Remind us of all the forms of violence that steal life from our neighbors and community. Encourage us. Renew our commitment to creating a safe city. Provide your wisdom and make us zealous ambassadors of your justice and love. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ms. Blackshear, may I have the roll call, please?
Mayor Mims.
Aye.
Commissioner Joseph.
Aye.
Shaw.
Aye.
Fairchild.
Aye.
Turner-Sloss.
Aye.
Okay, may I have a motion then to approve the minutes from the October 8th meeting?
So moved, John.
Second the motion, Your Honor.
It's been probably moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the October 8th meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay, thank you. Communications and petitions, Ms. Blackshear.
There are none, Your Honor.
Okay, calendar items, let's see here. Ms. Blackshear, would have any additions, deletions, or comments to the calendar?
I have none, Your Honor.
Okay. Blackshear, do we have any citizens who are registered to speak on city manager's recommendations?
We have no citizens registered to speak. Ms. Dickstein might have comments to the
Okay.
calendar.
I guess I'll ask her. Ms. Dixon, any additions, deletions, or comments to the calendar?
Your Honor, this evening, given the brevity of the calendar, I have no comments or additions or deletions to our calendar.
That's good. Okay. Commissioners, comments, questions, according to the calendar?
I have none, Your Honor.
Have none?
No.
None?
Mayor.
Commissioner Fairchild?
Yeah,
Please, go ahead.
we've been seeing the law enforcement memorial coming up. Can we get an update on that? Do they have all the funding to complete the project? Does our $50,000 go to the completion, or does this go into operating, and will that be sufficient?
We can follow. I don't know if they've gotten all their funding. They have been working at it for a period of time now. Our funding goes towards maintenance and ongoing maintenance and whatnot, but I can follow up on where they're at in their fund development process.
Okay. Is the $50,000 annual obligation?
No, it's a one-time.
One-time?
One-time
Okay.
towards the memorial.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you good?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Then may I have a motion then to approve the city manager's recommendations?
Your Honor, I move to approve city manager's recommendations.
Second, Your Honor.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded to approve the city manager's recommendations. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay. All right, legislation, please, Ms. Blackshear.
First reading, emergency resolution number 6894-25, objecting to the issuance of liquor permit number 087-822-15-20, R&R to Car Operations, Inc., 805 North Main Street, Dayton, Ohio, 45405, and declaring an emergency.
Your Honor, being declared as an emergency, I move for the immediate passage of emergency resolution number 6894-25.
Second the motion, Your Honor.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded to have resolution number 6894-25 declared as an emergency. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay.
Second reading, emergency resolution number 6894-25, objecting to the issuance of liquor permit number 087-822-15-20, R&R to Car Operations, Inc., 1805 North Main Street, Dayton, Ohio, 45405. Mayor Mims.
Aye.
Commissioner Joseph.
Aye.
Shaw.
Aye.
Fairchild.
Aye.
Turner-Sloss.
Aye.
First reading emergency resolution number 6895-25, authorizing the acceptance of the fiscal year 2024 Assistance to Firefighters Grant in the amount of $239,971.41 from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, and authorizing the required matching funds in the amount of $23,997.15 and declaring an emergency.
Your Honor, being declared an emergency, I move for the immediate passage of resolution number 6895-25.
I second the motion, Your Honor.
Yes, been probably moved and seconded to have resolution number 6895-25 declared an emergency. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Okay.
Second reading emergency resolution number 6893-25, authorizing the submission of the 2026-2030 Consolidation Plan and the 2026 Action Plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, authorizing the acceptance of grant awards under 3 community planning and development formula programs from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Mayor Mims.
Aye.
Commissioner Joseph.
Aye.
Shaw.
Aye.
Fairchild.
Aye.
Turner-Sloss.
Aye.
First reading resolution number 6896-25, approving the submission of grant applications and authorizing the acceptance of grant awards from the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission under the Transportation Improvement Program. Second reading ordinance number 32162-25, appropriating property designated as parcels 98 SH&T, 100 SH, 108T, 110 SH&T, 129T, and 131T in connection with the Salem Avenue Reconstruction Phase 4 project. Mayor Mims.
Aye.
Commissioner Joseph.
Aye.
Shaw.
Aye.
Fairchild.
Aye.
Turner-Sloss.
Aye.
That concludes the legislation, Your Honor.
Okay. Summers Black, should have any citizens who are registered to speak?
Your Honor, 7 citizens have registered. I would like to state that there is a 3-minute time limit. As you address the commission, we ask that you state your name and address for the record. At that time, I will turn on the green light. When the green light comes on, you will have 3 minutes to speak. After you have spoken 2.5 minutes, a yellow light will come on. You will have 30 seconds remaining to speak. When the red light comes on, you will be asked to cease your comments and to take your seat. To the audience and attendants, please be mindful this is a business meeting, and we kindly request that during this portion of the meeting, you refrain from any hand clapping, finger snapping, and conversations that will prevent City Commission from hearing the speaker's comments. I call to the podium Tasha Roundtree.
Good evening.
Good evening. Tasha Roundtree, 4609 St. James. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and all of Dayton. First, I want to tell you thank you for all of your support after the last meeting. My community engagement specialist, Jonathan Johnson, reached out and we were able to get some meetings together. Mr. Steve Gondola reached out and we are going to set some meetings. We had such an immense outcry from our community that Mount Enan's room could not fit everybody. So we ended up having to reschedule this meeting, and we're going to have it down at the Dayton Library on October 25th. Because of some of the other things that are going on in my industry, we were already planning on having an event, so we're going to combine the 2 events, and now we're going to be able to offer some community resources so that our people are interested in the first-time homeowners program, credit recovery, felony reentry programs. Now we can do all of these things in one spot at one time. So we can address some of those issues so that when the homes do become available, we're starting to get these people ready and get them prepped so that they'll be in a position to qualify for these homes and qualify to get ready for these programs. So I wanted to say thank you for your very immediate response. I appreciate that, and thank you for Mr. Gondler for reaching out very quickly to get that on the books and make sure that we felt heard and listened to and not dictated to. We didn't want just a seat at the table so we could be seen at the table. We wanted to also be heard because we have ideas how we want our neighborhood to look, how we want to be treated and we want to be respected. And so we appreciate you taking the time to make sure that those needs were addressed and met expeditiously. So I usually come to fuss, and today I wanted to come and say thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing those thoughts. Okay.
Thank you.
Kathleen Galt.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Kathleen Galt, 5066 Safeway Drive, Dayton, Ohio. I'm a member of the Clergy Community Coalition, as most of you know. Many in the city, as we collected the 10,000 signatures for the hospital initiative, believe that the decision to close the 93-year-old Good Samaritan Hospital in a 75% black neighborhood severely disadvantages and disproportionately affects people of color. At the same time, while Premier announced the closing and then tore it down, Premier expanded healthcare services in 86% white suburban areas around Dayton. This action fits the very definition of institutional racism. Most people believe if Premier had gone ahead and tried to tear down Miami Valley based on funds, all hell would have broken loose. So they closed Good Sam. So the Clergy Community Coalition began to ask the city numerous times, probably at least you can figure 5 times, for the city to spend $15,000 to hire a healthcare professional to determine what Northwest Dayton residents need in regard to healthcare. Well, that didn't happen, even though we asked over and over again from the very beginning. Instead, the city manager, as well as others, spent $15,000 to hire Wolpert to create a false narrative, essentially lying about what the CCC is asking for. That Wolpert report is, again, based on falsehoods. So here's our ask in the initiative. The facility may be constructed and opened in phases, but the plan shall at least include an emergency department that is at least a trauma level 2 center, an intensive care unit, pediatric emergency services, mental health programs, and service a diagnostic laboratory, an imaging center, an outpatient obstetrics clinic, a birthing center, and several other things. Again, no hospital rooms were mentioned anywhere. 0 times. That, again, was a false narrative that has now been repeated over and over in the city by some of the commissioners. Actually, it was a pretty good article in the Dayton Daily News, but they repeated some of those falsehoods. So we're asking the 10,000 people, some of the 10,000 people who signed that initiative, to go and vote for issue 9. Again, the facility may be constructed and opened in phases. That's what we're asking for. So, Mr. Shaw, I know I saw you smirking. You know, we are doing this out of deep sincerity and deep belief that was
Hey, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Charlene Bayless. Name and address for the record.
Charlene Bayless, 2422 Patterson Boulevard, 45409.
Good evening.
A public hospital. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Mayor and Commissioners, Manager Dickstein. How sensible it would have been in 2010, before the 2018 closing and demolition of Good Samaritan Hospital, for the Hospital Association, Montgomery County, and the City of Dayton to have engaged Wolpert Consulting to compare the costs. Renovating an established, well-serving hospital, infrastructure in place, both physical and personnel, or building a Dayton Public Hospital from the ground up, both structure and operation needed. The Hospital Association, Montgomery County, and the City of Dayton have an understanding of and deep concern for the health of the underinsured and underserved people of Dayton. Each could have contributed to funding the study. Hospital Association, $5,000, Montgomery County, $5,000, City of Dayton, $5,000. The recent NATO Parliamentary Assembly held in Dayton was in planning a decade. Last week's On Main Fairgrounds open house needed a decade for decisions: closing the fairgrounds, determining land use, establishing the financial collaboration between Premier Health and the University of Dayton and others. Now, Dayton's healthcare option is a vote for Issue 9, a Dayton public hospital to serve the people. A study could have been, a study should have been. I would that study had been done. People of Dayton, vote for Issue 9, a Dayton public hospital to care for everyone.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Paul Kerrigan.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for
evening.
hearing me tonight. I appreciate it.
Name and address for the...
Paul Kerrigan, 1525 Pershing Boulevard, Dayton, Ohio. What I have to say is a statement. It's going to take me the full 3 minutes to say it, so bear with me. I'm here to express my feelings about a speed bump that was denied on my street. The street is Pershing Boulevard, more specifically the north end of Pershing Boulevard, 14 to 1500 block. The section of Pershing with the big steep hill with a double blind spot at the top of the hill. Last summer, a couple of Pershing residents started gathering signatures for a petition to get a speed bump on our street. Signatures were collected and submitted with required number of homeowner signatures. Weeks later, a thin business envelope came from the city, and only 44% of those speed bump were returned, so the speed bump was denied by the city engineers. You know how the rules go. It seems that no one in authority will take us seriously. This is a problem. This is a matter of public safety for the residents of Pershing Boulevard. Over the past 16 years that I've lived there, I've seen countless occasions of lawless driving, donuts in the street, threatened residents if you dare to say anything to the crazy drivers, countless rearview mirrors being ripped off the sides of cars. Car sides being scraped. One neighbor had the same car hit twice. Another, Charlie, God rest his soul, had his blazer stricken 3 times. Don died or had an accident at the top of the street before he died. His son, a few years later, had an accident at the top of the street because of speeders. It's a blind spot. It's really bad. Quad runners and mini bikes routinely roar up and down our streets several times a week, especially on the weekends. No police presence anywhere. Should I take the law into my own hands? Try and stop them all? No, wait. That's the city's job. The huge accident a few years back at the bottom of the hill that damaged several cars and had to replace telephone poles that was that bad. Kids can't play in the street, animals aren't safe, and many have been killed. There is little to no police presence. Used to be the police would sit across the street behind a white picket fence and clock speeders as they were going by. That ended years ago. I can only assume they don't care or they're feckless towards us in general. So, the neighborhood tried to do some through civic community approach. Didn't work. There's little or no place or presence for us citizens to do. I thought, aren't we trying to strengthen our neighborhoods? Isn't that the message? My guess is hundreds of speed bumps around the city were not a result of neighborhoods petitioning and trying to get that speed bump, but rather they were a result of the city trying to look out for the well-being of the citizenry and their property. Well, the safety and the property of the people on Pershing Boulevard have been and are in jeopardy without any way to address the problem until recently when the petition process began and then quickly ended. If managing the city was like a basketball game, we would be missing the layups. There should be no question that there's a public safety issue on Pershing Boulevard. Please give us a speed bump before someone accidentally is killed. Excuse me. I want to finish by saying I love the city the way it works hard on maintaining our roads. Street cleaners come down my street regularly. Leaves are picked up. Snow and ice are always dealt with. And the men and women who pick up our rubbish and trash work really hard through tough conditions every day. And I applaud them and your leadership of those groups. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
E. Marie.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is E. Marie.
Address for the record.
My mailing address is 4189 Sailor Street, Dayton. And I'm new to this process, so please bear with me as I attempt to get all my words out. It'll be easier next time.
Sorry, take your time.
I just firstly want to give you all respect for the positions that you hold. It has to be a difficult job to be the ones in control and be responsible for the community that you serve. So first thing I want to say is I want to commend those who believe in the all lives matter. I know it's an old statement, but it does include Black lives, poor lives, and homeless lives. So we need to be able to say, yes, all lives does matter, but for some reason, every other lives don't seem to be considered when we think about the homelessness that is in our city, the gem city, the city where innovation took place, the city where so many people created a lot of the things that the America uses, our aviation and things like that, and those went on my list. I also want to address the overpriced parking meters. What is with that? I feel personally violated to have to live here and still have to pay $3 or $4 just to park somewhere or else get a ticket. And then in honor of our young lady that just lost her life to gun violence, and I just want to ask those who support the gun laws and the right to carry, what are you willing to do to make sure that guns don't end up in the hands of those who have committed crimes before? What are you, since we are for, not me, I don't particularly support guns, but there are those who support guns because of the right to carry. But I think they also need to step in and figure out a way to help make sure that our youth or children are not being shot on the street. And then I also have a question for you, our local leaders, because I respect the job that you have. I have no knowledge of what it takes to be in your positions, but to ask you, are you fulfilling your original desire to be in the seat that you're sitting? Are you fulfilling that? The reason why you decided to be local leaders, the reason why you decided to be the people who represent our community. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Ebony Hastings.
Good evening.
Good evening. Ebony Hastings, 1238 Wabash Avenue, Dayton, Ohio, 45405. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I want to share my concerns today about waste management, violence, and community trust. Waste management. In July, my elderly disabled aunt faced a significant delay in bulk waste pickup. Despite multiple calls, service was not provided as promised. It was only completed after speaking to a supervisor. I was recently billed a $675 by the city for a vacant lot I own for debris and weed removal, yet those services were not performed, and I have pictures to prove it. This raises questions about the accuracy of the city records and billing. Our community deserves transparency and accountability in waste management. Violence. In 2025, several lives were lost, including Teron Pate, Tony Owensby, January 1st, 45404. Matika Brown, February 11th, 45404. Markia Hunter, March 16th, 45417. An unnamed victim, May 29th, 45402. Santana Buchanan, July 28th, 45417. Joseph Brandenburg and Delaquan Smith, August 13th, 45406. Tanner Stagg, September 18th, 45404. Hillary Farr, September 18th, 45404. Legacy Taylor, a 5-year-old, October 10th, 45417. Most of these homicides occurred in West Dayton, not North Main Street. Only 2 of these homicides happened in the Santa Clara district. Citizens were told in July of 2025 that violence interruption programs would serve the city, but now it targets one neighborhood near downtown Dayton. Why was the scope narrowed, and how were the neighborhoods chosen? The commission appears to drive downtown Dayton solutions rather than citywide. Gadaha prepared a 47-page application for this project that seems to discourage small nonprofits from applying. Was this intentional? How will you ensure a fair, accessible process for smaller groups and community voices? How can trust be earned when officials who previously supported actions like tearing down a functional hospital are at the table? Sustainable concerns, focusing only on North Riverdale, risk displacing violence elsewhere if root causes aren't addressed citywide. A $100,000 budget is far short of the $564,000 budget, and is needed and is insufficient.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for your comments.
Kevin Keller.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Commissioners, City Manager, audience. I'm here today to speak about a few topics.
Name and address. for the
Yes,
record.
that's right. 3922 East 3rd Street, Dayton, Ohio, 45403. And I am not the same person that is the newest Archie's character named Kevin Keller. Alleys. I have pictures to show when it's a good time of our alley near our houses on East 3rd and Quinton, the alley. Terrible. I mean, there's potholes big enough you could park a lake in. I really hope we can get this taken care of, because that's where a lot of people park, because we can't park in the yards, we can't park in the street because it's so narrow. And I'm wondering what's going to happen with that speed study, or the study they were supposed to do about the width of the streets. My wife's saying my vehicles has been sideswiped 3 times now in the last year by people going down these narrow streets really quick, and they clip these cars and they disappear. That's got to be a problem, and I've mentioned it several times before. We've got to do something about it, because that's why some people are parking on the curb or parking in yards, and they get a warning saying you park in the yard again, you're going to get a $150 ticket. These people are just protecting their assets, and to have these narrow streets, it's really costly to us residents. Speed on East 3rd. We're still having a lot of issues coming down that hill and up the hill. And it's dangerous, especially these guys on bikes, unlicensed motorbikes, whatever, down the hill, through traffic, weaving through traffic. Somebody's going to get really, really hurt one day. Progress on the trash cans on East 3rd. We'd love to have a trash can, because I made a walk one day from my house at Quinton and East 3rd all the way down the hill, and it's almost to Irving Street where there's a trash can. That's crazy. And maybe I'd love to have a bench for the RTA folks, because there's somebody getting off or getting on the bus almost every single day, several times a day. Creation of a new artful and welcome sign to Dayton. I would think it'd be great. A lot of other towns, like we go to Indy, it's IndyCar themed sign on all sides of the city that's coming into Indianapolis. they're real proud and they want people to see it. So I think it'd be great to get some funds together, hold a bake sale or something, and get a sign up that's a really artful sign that says "Welcome to Dayton." I was wondering what happened to the mayor's walks we used to have. Past mayors would walk the city, different neighborhoods, different times. I really think that was great, and it really gets the local government in touch with its people. And parking areas, no signs. I'm parked out front on, was it East 3rd Street, and they made this new parking lot area where you pull in, and it says Passport, but there's no zone number, there's no space number. They took all the meters out, and what are we supposed to do? I mean, how do you pay for parking? Well, I don't want to get a ticket, and there's no signs. That's crazy. That is all I have today, but I really hope we can address some of these issues, because the tiniest thing can really mess things up. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
That concludes the speakers, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dixon, do you have any closing comments?
I have none, Your Honor.
Ms. Blackshear, any closing comments?
I have none, Your Honor.
Okay, Commissioners, closing comments. Commissioner
Yeah.
Turner-Sloss?
Yes, thank you. I would like to thank Commissioner Fairchild for your invocation. Thank you for your prayer this evening. Very heartfelt, and I really appreciate the words that were expressed and the sympathy and the condolences, and thanking my colleagues as well. I know this is a very challenging time for many of us, especially to Ms. Hastings' point, when we see senseless violence that is rampant across the country, but in particular in the city of Dayton, and know that the commitment is there. And it's my hope that with all of the efforts that are being made from the Cure of Violence initiative, and noting that the request for proposal deadline is at the end of this month, there is hope that there will be some CBOs, community-based organizations, who will be able to fulfill those obligations and those commitments that are laid out. But also, too, that, to Ms. Hastings' point, making sure that we're not eliminating or excluding the voices in this community who have been doing the work for a number of years, who may not have the back office capacity, but making sure that it is, in fact, an opportunity for us to collaborate on this work, on this important work, that we definitely need to make sure that we treat it as a priority and with urgency. So again, I would just like to thank Commissioner Fairchild, my colleagues, Ms. Hastings, thank you very much for raising your comments as it relates to the violence in our community. And then noting, too, that in the assessment that was completed by the Global Violence Interruption Organization, it noted the 3 target areas, and just identifying, again, to Ms. Hastings' point, like when we are looking at the various zip codes, I know Westwood is an area of concern, and really trying to figure out, with the heat map and the violence and the data that we have with DPD, to show where, in fact, we need to raise our efforts to cure the violence in our communities. We need to make sure that everyone is safe throughout all 65 of our neighborhoods. The other thing that I would like to mention on that is, if we could, in fact, once we get to that point, I know we're still there, but I don't know what the next steps will be. So, Ms. Jackson, once we get to that point, if you could just follow up with us on the next steps, understanding that it is in the wheelhouse, if you will, of GDAHA, the Greater Dayton Hospital Association. But if we stay abreast on that along, so we can, in fact, inform the community as what the next steps are. So thank you, Ms. Hastings, and thank you for being here. I know that this is very difficult as a mother of 3, and I know that you're a mother and an aunt, and you're, in fact, the matriarch of your family. And so I know that this is very painful for you, as all of us. So thank you for your comments and being here. Mr. Keller, thank you for your comments and being here as well. If we could just get an update, Ms. Dixon, on the efforts for East 3rd Street. I know we have a conversation about that, as well as some other areas. And Mr. Keller, thank you for always bringing great ideas and means of ways for us to be innovative and to highlight the work that's being done in the city of Dayton. So I receive your comments. and I thank you for being here. Ms. Anne Marie, thank you for your comments. I appreciate you being here, and you're absolutely correct in terms of the space that we're in and the challenge and the constraints that we're having right now. And with that being said, we had a full marathon today of our budget process, and kudos to the staff, the work that they have done and the amount of time and effort that they have spent on identifying what the priorities are, understanding that there are some constraints, there are some challenges that we are faced with socially and with us looking at an unfortunate growing unhoused population. And so how do we pivot to make sure that we are addressing those concerns with the threats of cuts from the federal and state level? So know that those conversations are having. I believe that Ms. Dixon made mention of those conversations last week, if I have my dates right. I think it was last week, of some work that's being done at the county level and also with many of our other social service partners. So the work is being done. It is a priority, and just trying to find ways and means of how we address those areas and making sure that there is service and support for our most vulnerable. So appreciate you being here, and note that while I sit in this seat, my commitment is to the people in the city of Dayton, and that's why I show up every day. This is a part-time position, but many can attest that this is full-time work, every day, all day, full-time work. The phone don't stop, the concerns don't stop, and we too, and I will speak for myself, I live in this community. I don't live in Ivy Tower, so what affects you affects me as well. So thank you for your comments. Mr. Carrington, thank you for raising your concerns for Pershing Boulevard. And just with my colleague, I think he can attest to some of those concerns there, and he definitely know that it is off radar. So Ms. Dixon, if we can get an update, and I know that generally our practice is that we will receive a memo, a follow-up memo with the concerns that's been raised before this body, as to why, in fact, the speed bump request was denied. So we look forward to having that information, just so that we can do a full assessment and how we can curb some of that behavior. So thank you for bringing it to our attention, and know that we are listening, and we want to do any and everything that we can to make sure we support and address your concerns. Ms. Bayless, thank you for being here. Thank you for your words. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I appreciate that. Very creative. And thank you for your continued advocacy in this space. Ms. Galt, you as well, thank you for being here. Ms. Roundtree, thank you very much. I really appreciate your leadership. And it's interesting, because I was thinking the same thing, so you said it, not me. But I really do appreciate your passion, your commitment, and again, making sure that those voices are, in fact, uplifted. And I will speak with you offline, because you gave us the date but did not give us the time. So October the 25th at the main branch library, 215 East 3rd Street, and I look forward to getting the time so that we can make sure that everyone is fully aware of that meeting. And again, kudos to the Planning and Neighborhood Development staff and your community liaison, Mr. Jonathan, and I'm glad that he showed up in that space and he was able to communicate with you and give you the support and assistance that you needed, as well as Mr. Dongle. Thank you, Mr. Gondel. Mr. Hall, did I get it? I got it right. All right, very good. Thank you. All right, a couple of last things. Ms. Reed, thank you for the talking points this evening, recreation programs, some great work. This is very intriguing and exciting. Movie in the Pool. Movie in the Pool is this Thursday, October the 16th at the Northwest Recreation Center for a special movie in the pool featuring Hotel Transylvania 3. It's a great movie. The film begins at 6 p.m. and it is free for family events with light snacks and drinks provided. Space is limited, so it's first comes, first served. And of course, there's no eating in the pool, I'm sure they would say. And then the Fall Fest, which I'm very excited about, celebrates the season at the fall harvest on Saturday, October. I'm ready for dinner time, talking about season. Fall Fest, October the 25th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Kettering Field Sports Complex. Enjoy pumpkins, candy, and costume contests, music, food trucks, and more. Family activities, all completely free. It is a great event. I encourage people to come out and think that's all I have. I don't want to make sure I
That
miss
it?
anything. I do believe, yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Fairchild.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And thank you to all the citizens for coming. Thank you, Commissioner, for your comments. City Manager, is there a process if a petition is denied for them to either cure that petition or start anew?
They can continue and do another petition, but the process is if there's not a majority of property owners, then the city won't go forward with the improvement, right? So yes, they can keep trying to do petitions to get to that majority. There's not a one and done rule or anything.
Appreciate that. That was my question, so thank you. And I would just echo that Fall Festival down at Carrying Field is a blast. You know, every time I've gone, they make new improvements, and people are having a great time. The kids absolutely love it. It's a blast. So mark your calendars.
Rabbit last year.
What's that?
A real magician with a real rabbit last year.
Oh, yeah.
Kids love that.
Yeah.
They come direct to hood as well.
Yeah, thank you for that, and thank you also for that prayer. Really appreciate that. Timely. Just real quickly, I nominate a prominent businesswoman in the Dayton region for Businesswomen Mentoring Monday. This event unites women in a dynamic, fast-paced coaching setting where participants gain valuable mentorship from some of the most accomplished. The deadline for votes can be submitted through the Dayton Business Journal website at www.bizjournals.com/Dayton under nominations until November 3rd, 2025. That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Joseph.
Thank you, Mayor. Two things today. The first is, you heard me talk a couple weeks ago about different resources that are available if you want a tree in your yard. We have free trees available from the city that go in the tree lawn, the area between the sidewalk and the road. They're free. We will come and plant them for you. We will get the watering started. You may have to fill it up later, but everything will be there for you and ready. The catch is you have to submit your request today. Today is the deadline. So if you're watching this live or you're sitting in the audience, you want a tree, go to the City of Dayton website. You'll be able to see, there'll be a link there for street tree planting requests. So go click on that, fill it out today, and you'll get a free tree. Second thing is, this November, is the 30th anniversary of the Dayton Peace Accords, the peace agreement that was signed here at Right Pat 30 years ago. I'm part of a committee, as is Commissioner, and I think everybody's been involved with it, that's sponsoring some events and organizing some events to remember bringing peace, that we here in Dayton were witness to it. And the first event is a movie called In the Land of Blood and Honey. It's going to take place, so we're showing it on October 18th at the library downtown. And we're also going to have a demonstration from the Marshall Institute of some of the landmine-seeking dogs that they train to go over there and to dig up landmines to make it safer for kids and people in the aftermath of the war. So it starts at 6:45 on October 18th at the main library. Main library is getting plenty of shouts out here today. Tickets are free. You do have to register. You can go to Eventbrite and look up Dayton Peace Accords 30th anniversary, and you'll be able to see it, and tickets are free. Hope you were able to join us.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to thank Commissioner Fairchild for the very heartfelt prayer for the family of the 5-year-old whose life was lost last week, and to offer some additional prayers and condolences because of the fact that this is the second child that they've lost in that family over the last year. Again, with the child not being the intended target, which makes it even more tragic, if you will. And then additionally, thank you, Ms. Hastings, for raising the issue, giving me an opportunity to give more information, again, regarding the Curing Violence program. I think it was probably 3 weeks ago. I think we had one of our longest meetings that we've had because we had those experts here who gave us just a large amount of information from A to Z about the essence of the entire program, explaining how it works and how we got to the point that we are. And also understand that myself and I know Commissioner Turner-Sloss, has been on that committee, being a part of some of the discussions with that as well, and listening to just the mountain of information that was shared. I'll just highlight a couple of things. One, the program's design that has been working internationally, that has proven to be very successful in this process, is designed as such that they identify one hotspot first and they start there and they move in that direction. And those hotspots are determined based upon the data from the police departments. And again, this is consistent with what happens across the nation where this process is being used. They recommend that you stay with that one hotspot and work in that space with that group, because they are familiarity with the individuals who are engaged in the type of behavior that we're trying to curb and we're trying to minimize as far as the gun violence is concerned. Additionally, as the group looks at the success of those programs, which takes time, and looking at a multi-pronged approach, which we're using here in the city of Dayton, one with the cure violence model, where you go in based upon the designated area and work to curb or stop violence in that space, and then work in another area, same space, if you will, same site, across the city in terms of how we work with our young people to give them better training so that they will not grow up in being involved in violence themselves. And so that involves a multitude of different issues in terms of our programs as well. And then thirdly, to work with another large group of individuals throughout this community in a group that we call the community engagement piece. And they are the ones that are helping to spread information about the details and the facts about what's happening in those spaces, and also to provide more support for those things that happen as far as the city is concerned. And the reason why they went with the request for proposals is to try to find those organizations that are willing to do that work, and also who had a capacity to be trained to do the work. So it's not like everyone is exactly ready right at this point in time, but to find those individuals who know some of the key players, they're involved in some of the negative behavior, and then getting more of them engaged in a process, even if we had to build a process. But that, again, that will be happening, will happen with the community-based organization. So I really appreciate your question. Give me a chance just sort of share the information, and I'll be happy to give you more information as well. Okay. So, love and peace for all, hatred for none, with no further business to come before this commission. This meeting is adjourned.